Hey there, welcome to your deep dive. Today, we're tackling, kind of the granddaddy of success lit, Napoleon Hill.
Mm.
And you guys found some really interesting source material for this one. It's not just his books,
Huh?
right? We've got actual recordings of Hill himself. I mean, for those not familiar, Hill spent decades interviewing, the titans of industry back in the early 1900s.
Right, well, yeah.
Steel magnates, inventors, like you name it. And he distilled all those lessons into this philosophy of achievement that honestly it still resonates even now, but having his actual voice, like him sharing his own journey and struggles.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty powerful stuff.
It really is. What I find so fascinating about this material is the rawness. It's not just, some sort of polished theories or anything. It's like we're getting this glimpse into Hill's own self-coaching,
Huh.
almost like we're eavesdropping on his personal growth journey.
So, okay, full disclosure. I am prone to like a bit of motivational quote overload, I'll admit it. Can Hill's actual words like cut through that noise, and offer something that's truly actionable for someone like me?
Absolutely. I mean, what Hill does so brilliantly is he connects these, sometimes lofty concepts to real life stories, both his own struggles and the triumphs of the folks he studied. It's that grounding in reality, I think, that makes his work so enduring.
Speaking of grounding, Hill's own origin story is anything but a tale of privilege, right?
Yeah.
This guy grew up dirt poor in rural Virginia, like didn't even have shoes till he was 10.
I know, right.
It's amazing.
This sets the stage for, I think, like a core theme that runs through all of Hill's work.
Yeah.
That is the belief that anyone, regardless of background, can achieve great things. It's almost like he's saying, look, if I could claw my way out of poverty, anyone can.
Yeah, and there's this real grit to his story, this almost like a fire lit by proving doubters wrong, especially after this wealthy relative totally snubbed him in his will.
Oh, yeah, that snub. It really, I think, while hurtful, it became a turning point for Hill. He chose to see it as this forced lesson in self-reliance.
Yeah.
Like a push to develop the skills and mindset needed to succeed on his own terms.
Right, and it's like this perfect segue into one of Hill's most famous concepts, definiteness of purpose. So it's not just about like having a dream.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
Hill gets really laser focused here, breaking it down into this seven-step formula for transforming those vague desires
Yeah.
into concrete achievements. But instead of just listing those steps, I think it'd be helpful to unpack how you could apply them right now.
Okay, so step one is writing down your purpose. That seems, simple enough, but is there a specific way to phrase it that packs more punch?
Yeah, Hill stresses the importance of clarity and emotion. It's not just, I want to be rich. It's, I will achieve financial independence by date. So I can do a specific reason that truly motivates you. And writing it down, that makes it real. And injecting that emotion, that fuels your commitment.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what about those days when motivation just dips? Hill was, big on daily action, not just daydreaming.
Yeah, that's where steps 2 and 3 come in. Hill says, commit to your purpose daily.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a small action, then visualize your success as if it's already happened. And this, I think it trains your mind to see the path, not just the obstacles.
Visualization. Okay, so I'll admit that one sometimes feels a little woo-woo to me. Does Hill, offer any real-world proof that the stuff actually works?
Oh, he does. Think of it like, an athlete mentally rehearsing their moves before the big game. Hill even uses this example of a gold prospector who quit just 3 feet from a multi-million-dollar vein. Talk about heartbreaking. That story always, makes me think, am I quitting too soon on my goals?
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's a potent image for sure. But Hill doesn't just dwell on the negative, right?
Right.
He also talks about going the extra mile, doing more than expected. That's always sounded a bit like workaholic territory to me, though.
Yeah, it's not about mindless busy work. It's about strategic effort. Hill argues that this habit does 3 crucial things. It catches the eye of those who can, open doors for you. It makes you indispensable in any relationship. And it even acts as insurance against job loss.
So it's less about being a martyr and more about like becoming invaluable, both professionally and personally. It's interesting, Hill even connects going the extra mile to his own love story.
He does, yes. He shares how he was helping this, struggling friend by giving free lectures. No expectation of anything in return, And it was through that selfless act that he met his wife, someone, he credits with profoundly enriching his life. And it really underscores that sometimes the greatest rewards come from the paths we least expect.
Okay, let's get into this mastermind concept. So is this just a fancy word for networking, or is there like something deeper at play here?
Oh, there's definitely something deeper going on. Hill was adamant that no significant achievement is possible without leveraging the mastermind principle. So think of it as uh, tapping into a collective genius, gaining access to the experience, the training, and specialized knowledge of others, almost as if it were your own.
Yeah, and of course Hill, he had his own legendary mastermind alliance, that 20-year collaboration with Andrew Carnegie. But he also stresses the importance of personal masterminds, like even within a marriage.
Exactly. And then there's Hill's rather unique inner circle, his invisible guides. Now, before you dismiss this as too out there, consider it as a way to personify like different aspects of your goals.
Yeah.
It's like having accountability partners living rent-free in your own mind.
Invisible guides. Okay, that one's going to take some unpacking. We'll get to that, but let's stick with more real world masterminds for now. You mentioned the Mayo Clinic as a prime example.
Yeah, I mean, the Mayo Clinic's success is largely attributed to their mastery of this mastermind principle. So they assembled this team of, top-notch medical specialists, each, with this unique expertise, and this allowed them to provide really comprehensive and innovative care, something they couldn't have achieved individually.
Right. So it's like assembling a dream team, but for your specific goals,
Yeah.
whatever those may be. Hill also pointed to Henry J. Kaiser, the shipbuilder, as someone who really embodied this.
Oh, yeah, Kaiser's story is fascinating, especially during World War II. To ensure like on-time delivery for his shipyards. He took these really extraordinary measures, even placing 2 expediters on every train car carrying essential materials. Talk about going above and beyond.
Wow. And so it wasn't just like his individual effort, right? It
Yeah.
was about inspiring and coordinating the efforts of like a vast team. Hill even talks about applying the mastermind principle to help President Roosevelt during the Great Depression, which is pretty wild. So it sounds like he organized this nationwide support system to fight the crisis.
Absolutely. He mobilized this massive alliance, including Congress, newspapers, radio stations, churches, and even leaders from both political parties,
Yeah.
to stand behind the president and to project this unified message of hope and recovery. It was a truly remarkable example of the principle's power on a national scale.
Wow, that's impressive. But let's bring it back to a more personal level. Hill also highlighted Henry Ford's success, and specifically emphasized Mrs. Ford's role as a key part of his mastermind.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful example of a personal mastermind in action. So Mrs. Ford's, unwavering belief in her husband, even when, he doubted himself, it played this crucial role in the birth of the Ford Motor Company.
And her encouragement and support, even to the point of using their house fund to buy parts, that really underscores the power of a strong support system. Hill goes as far as to suggest that, the most valuable mastermind can often be found within the home, between husband and wife. So it's almost like he believed that, 2 heads are better than one, especially in a marriage.
Yeah, he saw this type of alliance as essential for both personal and professional growth. It's about having that partner who understands your vision, offers encouragement, and helps you stay focused when things get tough.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But as we kind of touched on earlier, Hill didn't just rely on these external masterminds, did he?
No, no, he didn't.
He also had his rather unconventional invisible guides. I'm still a little skeptical, but I guess let's hear what he has to say about those.
Okay, well, Hill had this fascinating system of creating these imaginary entities, to embody different aspects of his goals. And now, while it might sound a bit out there, it's actually a powerful technique for self-motivation and accountability. So he essentially created his own internal board of advisors, each with, a specific area of expertise.
So it's like having this inner circle of support, even when you're alone with your thoughts. Did he give them like specific roles or personalities?
Oh, absolutely. He assigned them roles like, maintaining good health, ensuring financial prosperity, and even, cultivating peace of mind. And he even had one named Norm Hill, which was a combination of his and his wife's names, who served as this roving ambassador, tackling unexpected tasks and clearing obstacles from his path.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Still a bit skeptical though. Did he ever share any like concrete examples of how this invisible guide system, actually worked in his life?
He did. He tells this story about how Norm Hill consistently finds him parking spots, even in the most crowded areas. And he also mentioned how some of his business associates, initially skeptical of the idea, started using the same technique with great success.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how this could be a powerful mental tool, like
Okay.
personifying your goals and creating this kind of inner team. It's almost like you're tapping into this hidden reserve of motivation and resourcefulness.
Exactly. It's about consciously directing your subconscious mind to work for you, even on this subtle level. And Hill believed that this type of creative visualization, combined with action, could lead to extraordinary results.
So it's not just about wishful thinking, it's about like creating this mental framework that supports your goals and empowers you to take action. It's fascinating how Hill blends these, seemingly out there concepts with very practical advice. Speaking of which, he also placed a lot of emphasis on controlling your mental attitude, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely, he did.
Yeah, he considered this to be, like foundational for any type of achievement.
He did. He believed controlling one's mental attitude was the most important prerogative given to humans by the Creator. So he saw it as the foundation upon which everything else is built. Health, relationships, success in any endeavor.
Okay, so mindset is everything. Got it. But how do we actually control something as intangible as our attitude?
Yeah.
That's what always trips me up.
Yeah. Well, he'll provide several practical techniques, and it all starts with willpower. He stresses the importance of having this strong why behind your aspirations. So the more compelling your motivation, the easier it will be to maintain that positive mental attitude, even when the going gets tough.
Yeah, it's like having a powerful engine,
Hmm.
driving you forward even when the road gets bumpy. He also talks about consciously filling your mind with positive thoughts, almost like tending a garden and weeding out negativity.
Yes, he used that garden analogy to illustrate the point. So if you don't cultivate the plants you want, weeds will naturally take over. And the same applies to our minds. If we don't actively cultivate positive thoughts, negativity will just creep in.
So it's not enough to just like avoid negative thinking. We have to actively replace it with positive thoughts. It's almost like retraining your brain to focus on what you want, not what you fear. Did Hill have any other techniques for achieving this kind of mental shift?
Well, he had a lot to say about choosing your company wisely. He stresses the importance of surrounding yourself with positive, inspiring people and avoiding those who, you know, drain your energy or hold you back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Your environment can definitely impact your mindset, but Hills also talks about some more, unconventional methods, like treating everyone as though they were like a rich relative.
Oh, yes. He suggests this practice as a way to cultivate patience and maintain this positive demeanor in any interaction. Think about it. If you're expecting an inheritance from someone, you'd be far less likely to let their behavior get under your skin.
Right. That's a clever way to kind of shift your perspective. He also suggests, looking for the seed of equivalent benefit in every unpleasant circumstance. That one seems tough when you're in the middle of a truly challenging situation.
Well, he'll believe that every challenge, no matter how difficult, contains, a lesson or opportunity for growth. So by actively searching for that seed, you can transform adversity into advantage. He saw setbacks as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Yeah, it's about reframing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, which I guess can ultimately shift your mental attitude in a positive direction. He'll also seem to be a big fan of asking questions, especially
Yeah.
how do you know when someone makes a statement you doubt.
Oh yeah, he viewed that question as a powerful tool for diffusing arguments and encouraging critical thinking. Rather than engaging in this heated debate, this simple question, it forces the other person to examine their own beliefs and assumptions.
Right. It's like turning the tables and putting the onus of proof on the other person. It's a subtle but effective way to shift the dynamic of a conversation. He'll also delves into the importance of self-discipline, outlining 10 specific rules for developing this crucial trait.
Oh yeah, his rules offer practical guidance for managing emotions, improving relationships, and becoming a more effective leader. So he emphasizes the importance of staying calm under pressure, treating others with respect, and focusing on serving others.
Yeah, and one of his most memorable rules, at least for me, is to keep cool when other people get hot. It
Yeah.
seems like he's advocating for this this calm, collected approach, especially in conflict situations.
Exactly. He tells this story about witnessing a company president remain composed,
Mm.
while a subordinate berated him. And it's this powerful illustration of self-control in the face of, anger and disrespect.
Yeah, that takes a lot of restraint. I can see how that kind of composure would be a valuable asset in a leadership role. He also he also advises against, giving directives when you're angry, suggesting a cool-headed approach to leadership.
Yeah, he believed that emotional outbursts, erode trust and respect. His message is clear.
Yeah.
Effective leadership requires self-mastery
Yeah.
and the ability to make decisions based on, reason, not reactivity.
Right, and his advice to treat all people as nearly as possible as if they were rich relatives from whom you expected to be remembered in their will is, well, it's humorous, but it's also an effective way to encourage respectful and considerate behavior.
Yeah, it's about cultivating this mindset of abundance
Oh,
and,
wow.
and treating every interaction as an opportunity to build positive relationships. But seeing the best in others, even when they're not showing us their best side.
Hill also reminds us that, there are three sides to every argument, encouraging us to consider multiple perspectives and to avoid jumping to conclusions, which seems like a good reminder, in today's polarized world.
Absolutely, he challenges us to acknowledge our own potential role in conflicts and strive for understanding rather than simply trying to win the argument.
And his emphasis on listening rather than lecturing is a valuable reminder, especially in our, fast-paced, opinionated world. He also suggests distinguishing between friendly analysis and unfriendly criticism, encouraging us to be receptive to constructive feedback while ignoring negativity.
Right. It's about discerning between those who genuinely want to help us improve and those who simply want to tear us down. He urges us to develop the discernment, to recognize the difference and the wisdom to choose, which voices we allow to influence us.
Yeah. His final two rules focus on leadership. So a good leader takes orders as cheerfully as they give them. And tolerance is as important in human relations as it is in mechanics.
And these rules, they highlight the importance of humility, adaptability, and understanding in effective leadership.
Yeah.
He'll believe that a true leader, serves others and recognizes the value of diverse perspectives.
So Hill's emphasis on self-discipline and controlled mental attitude seems to be this recurring theme throughout his work, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. He viewed these qualities as essential for achieving any, worthwhile goal. It's about mastering your thoughts and actions and aligning them with, your desired outcomes.
He even shares this cautionary tale about the destructive consequences of unchecked emotions. He cites the infamous Hatfield-McCoy feud as an example of how a minor incident, a pig with a torn ear, escalated into this generation-long cycle of violence and revenge.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder of the importance of controlling our reactions and avoiding the temptation to magnify petty annoyances into major conflicts. Hill's message is clear, Self-discipline is not just about achieving success, it's about preventing self-destruction.
So it's about choosing our battles wisely and refusing to let minor setbacks, derail our progress. Hill emphasizes that life is full of these unavoidable challenges, but it's our reaction to those challenges that determines our experience.
Right. He reminds us that we have the power to choose how we respond to any situation. We can either let negativity control us, or we can use, self-discipline to maintain a positive mental attitude and focus on solutions.
Hill's perspective on controlling our mental attitude is both like empowering and challenging, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's
Yeah.
called to take responsibility for our thoughts and actions,
Yeah.
and to consciously cultivate this mindset that supports our goals and well-being.
Yeah. It's a reminder that our thoughts are not just fleeting whispers in our minds. They are powerful forces that shape our reality. By mastering our thoughts, we can master our destiny. This leads nicely into another key aspect of Hill's philosophy, the power of enthusiasm. He didn't see it as just being, peppy and cheerful, did he?
No, not at all. He saw enthusiasm as this driving force behind action. But he distinguished between, true enthusiasm and mere excitement. He argued that true enthusiasm, it comes from within. It's fueled by this deep passion for your purpose. It's not about superficial hype, but about this genuine, contagious energy that inspires both yourself and others.
He even suggests, reading aloud with enthusiasm as a technique to develop this trait. Now, I'm a podcast listener, not usually a reader aloud kind of person, but I can see how that practice could help internalize and express enthusiasm more naturally.
Yeah, he believed that practice helps us embody and communicate enthusiasm more effectively, making us more compelling communicators and more inspiring leaders.
And he also observed that enthusiasm is highly contagious, especially in leadership and salesmanship. It makes you, think about those people you've encountered who just, exude this positive energy. It's hard not to get swept up in it.
It is. He believed that enthusiasm creates this positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Amplifying our own energy and influencing those around us. It's a key ingredient in building rapport, inspiring action, and achieving success in any field.
This reminds me of a story Eagle shared about Henry Ford and his wife. I was surprised to learn how much Mrs. Ford's unwavering enthusiasm, even in the face of setbacks, contributed to launching the Ford Motor Company.
Yeah, it's a powerful illustration of how enthusiasm can fuel persistence. And propel us toward our goals, even when the odds seem stacked against us. It's about maintaining belief in your vision and inspiring others to believe in it too.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. This is where Hill's ideas start to get really interesting for me. He talks about two types of imagination: synthetic and creative. So he defines synthetic as combining existing ideas in new ways, while creative vision taps into something deeper, almost like like intuition.
Yeah, he viewed synthetic imagination as a valuable tool for innovation, allowing us to leverage existing knowledge and create new solutions. But he believed that creative vision, accessing that deeper well of inspiration, was the key to unlocking truly groundbreaking ideas.
And to illustrate this point, he uses Thomas Edison's invention of the incandescent light bulb as an example. So initially, Edison was all about, synthetic imagination, relentlessly experimenting with thousands of failed attempts. But his ultimate breakthrough came through creative vision, right? This flash of insight that supposedly struck him, during a nap.
Yeah, it highlights how our subconscious mind can continue to work on our challenges, even when our conscious mind is resting. So sometimes the greatest insights come when we least expect them.
So it's like stepping away from the problem, letting go of the mental struggle and allowing your subconscious to kind of do its thing. Then boom, inspiration strikes. Does Hill offer any practical steps to cultivate this creative vision? I'm all for more aha moments in my life.
He does. He suggests several practices, including self-reflection, meditation, and learning to listen to your inner voice. He believed that by quieting our minds and tuning into our intuition, we can access this deeper level of creativity and unlock solutions that might otherwise elude us.
So it's about tapping into that wellspring of inspiration that lies within each of us.
Yeah.
But it's also about, creating the right conditions for those insights to emerge, right? It's not just about sitting around waiting for the muse to strike.
Right, exactly. It's about actively engaging with the world, gathering information, and then allowing our minds to process and synthesize that information in creative and unexpected ways.
Yeah.
It's a dance between action and contemplation.
Right. That makes sense. It's like priming the pump for creative breakthroughs. Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to take a short break and let all of this information sink in. We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's much more to explore in Hill's philosophy. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive deeper into his insights on personal achievement and uncover even more gems of wisdom from this pioneering thinker.
Welcome back. Diving into Hill's work like this, I'm realizing there's like a structure to his thinking that goes beyond, just catchy phrases. It's almost like he's built this whole framework for understanding what drives us.
Yeah, I think that's a great observation. He wasn't content with just surface level advice. He wanted to understand the root causes of both success and failure.
Right.
And that led him to explore the primary motivating forces in human behavior. So what did Hill consider to be like the big drivers, the things that really, push our buttons and shape our choices?
Well, he identified nine basic motives.
Yeah.
Categorizing them as either, positive or negative. And the big three, as he called them, the most influential
Yeah.
globally. Are love, sex, and the desire for material wealth. Now, these might seem obvious, but Hill's point is that understanding their influence, right, is crucial for achieving any goal.
So it's not about like ignoring these basic drives, but about harnessing their power
Yeah.
and directing them towards something productive. What about the other motives that he identified?
Okay, well, on the positive side, right, he included self-preservation, our inherent desire to protect ourselves and survive, along with the desire for freedom of body and mind. He also recognized the human longing for personal expression and recognition, that need to be seen and appreciated for who we are, and even included the desire for perpetuation of life after death.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the spiritual dimension of human motivation.
It's interesting that he included that spiritual aspect, suggesting that our drive isn't solely about achieving things in this life, but also about seeking something that transcends our earthly existence. What about the negative motivators? Which ones did Hill caution us against?
He highlighted two primary negative motivators: revenge and fear. So he saw revenge as this destructive force leading to these endless cycles of conflict and negativity. And he believed that fear, perhaps the most powerful and pervasive of all motives, right?
Yeah.
Held countless people back from achieving their full potential.
I'm curious, did he just talk about like fear in general, or did he get more specific about the types of fears that kind of sabotage our success?
Oh, he did. He actually he broke down fear into 7 basic fears that we should be on the lookout for: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, the fear of death, and then fear of the unknown. And he believed that these fears were so deeply ingrained in the human psyche that they often operated on a subconscious level, subtly shaping our thoughts and decisions.
Wow, that's a pretty comprehensive list of worries.
Yeah.
It's no wonder so many people struggle to achieve their goals. If they're constantly battling these fears.
Hill's point was not to deny the existence of these fears.
Right. But to become aware of them, to bring them to the surface and examine their influence on our choices.
Yeah.
He believed that understanding these fears is the first step towards overcoming them.
So it's not about pretending these fears don't exist, but about acknowledging their power and choosing to act despite them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hill was a big proponent of courage. But he didn't see courage as the absence of fear. He saw it as the decision to act despite fear, to move forward, even when those anxieties are whispering doubts in our ears.
So it sounds like Hill was advocating for this kind of proactive approach to fear, facing it head on rather than letting it paralyze us. But how do we actually do that? It's easy to to say be courageous, but it's a lot harder to put that into practice when those fears feel so real and overwhelming.
Yeah, well, Hill believed that knowledge is power, and that understanding the nature of our fears is crucial for disempowering them. And he emphasized the importance of developing a clear and compelling purpose, right?
Yes.
A why that is strong enough to pull us forward. Even when, fear is trying to hold us back.
This brings us back to definiteness of purpose, doesn't it?
It does. It's not just about having this vague dream, right? It's about creating a clear and actionable plan for achieving that dream.
Did Hill offer like specific steps for developing this definiteness of purpose?
He did. He recommended this 7-step process, starting with writing out a clear statement of your major purpose in life. He emphasized the importance of not just thinking about your goals, but actually putting them in writing and reviewing them regularly.
So it sounds like he believed in the power of externalizing our goals, making them tangible and concrete rather than just, vague aspirations floating around in our minds. It's like taking those dreams out of the ether and bringing them into the real world.
Exactly. And he also advocated for creating a definite plan for achieving that purpose.
Yeah.
setting clear timelines and milestones and specifying what you were willing to give in return for achieving your goal. He believed that everything in life has a price, and success requires effort, sacrifice, and a willingness to pay that price.
So it's not just about, wishing for things to magically happen. It's about making a conscious decision, setting a clear intention,
Yeah.
and committing to a course of action. It's about taking responsibility for our own success. What else did Hill recommend?
Well, he had some interesting advice about confidentiality. He suggested keeping your major purpose private. Sharing it only with your spouse or a trusted advisor. He believed that premature disclosure could dilute your focus and invite negativity or doubt from those who might not understand or support your vision.
Yeah, I can see the wisdom in that. It's about protecting your dream from, naysayers or those who might unintentionally dampen your enthusiasm. But it's also about, choosing your confidants wisely, right?
Right.
Seeking support from those who will uplift and encourage you on your journey.
Exactly. It's about being strategic
Mhm.
about who you share your dreams with. Choosing those who will be your cheerleaders, not your critics.
Right. What about steps 5 and 6? Those seem to focus on internalizing your purpose. Making it a part of your daily life.
Right. Well, Hill advised, calling your purpose to mind as often as possible, essentially making it this constant companion throughout your day. He believed that this practice, it strengthens your commitment.
Yeah.
And aligns your subconscious mind with your conscious goals.
It's almost like creating a mental mantra. Repeating your purpose to yourself throughout the day, keeping it front and center in your thoughts.
Yeah. And he also suggested reading your written statement of purpose aloud. At least twice a day,
Yeah.
Once in the morning and once before bed. He believed that this practice, it helps to program your subconscious mind,
Yeah.
creating this powerful internal force working towards the achievement of your goals.
So this seems to tie into his belief in the power of the subconscious mind, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
He wasn't just talking about conscious goal setting,
Right.
but about leveraging the power of our subconscious to support our aspirations.
It's fascinating how he connected this concept of subconscious programming to the power of prayer. He suggests that effective prayer involves impressing our desires upon our subconscious minds, essentially, triggering a process of manifestation.
Yeah, he saw a clear parallel between the principles of focused intention and unwavering faith,
Mm-hmm.
whether applied to spiritual or worldly pursuits. He believed that both prayer and goal achievement, they require this clarity of vision, right? A belief in the possibility of attainment, and a willingness to persist despite obstacles.
So it's about aligning our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions towards this common goal. It's about harnessing the power of our minds, both conscious and subconscious, to create the reality we desire. It's a concept that transcends specific domains, whether it's spiritual growth, personal development, or professional success.
Exactly. Hill's insights into the subconscious mind, they offer this powerful framework for understanding how our thoughts shape our reality. He challenged us to take control of our mental processes, and consciously direct our subconscious minds towards our desired outcomes.
Right. So it's not about being a passive observer of our thoughts and feelings, but an active participant in shaping them,
Yeah.
directing them toward the goals we want to achieve. It's about recognizing that we have far more control over our mental landscape than we often realize.
Yeah, and he stressed the importance of understanding the nature and power of our dominant thoughts. Those recurring ideas and beliefs that shape our perception of the world and influence our actions. He argued that by becoming aware of our dominant thoughts, we can choose to cultivate those that support our goals and eliminate those that hold us back.
So it's like becoming the gardener of your own mind, tending to the thoughts you want to nurture and weeding out the ones that are harmful or unproductive. I love that analogy. But how do we actually identify those dominant thoughts? They're often operating below the surface, aren't they?
Yeah, well, he'll believe that our emotions are the key to unlocking the secrets of our subconscious minds. He argued that our feelings are like messengers, delivering information about our dominant thoughts. So by paying attention to our emotions, we can gain valuable insights into the beliefs and patterns that are shaping our experiences.
So if we're feeling anxious or fearful, that's a clue that our dominant thoughts might be negative or limiting. And if we're feeling, joyful and enthusiastic, that suggests our dominant thoughts are more positive and empowering.
Exactly. And once we identify those dominant thoughts, we can start to shift them, consciously choosing to cultivate those that support our goals and well-being. He'll believe that this process of mental transformation is essential for achieving lasting success and happiness.
This reminds me of Hill's discussion of creative vision, where he talks about the two types of imagination, synthetic and creative. He saw synthetic imagination as the ability to combine existing ideas in new ways, right?
Right.
A valuable skill for innovation. But he believed that creative vision, which taps into intuition and inspiration, was the key to unlocking truly groundbreaking ideas.
Yeah, he used Thomas Edison's invention of the incandescent light bulb as a prime example. So,
Yeah.
Edison, he initially struggled using synthetic imagination, conducting thousands of failed experiments. But his ultimate breakthrough, it came through creative vision. That flash of insight that struck him during a nap. It's like his subconscious mind was working on the problem even while his conscious mind was resting.
Yeah, it's this, aha moments, the sudden bursts of inspiration that can change everything. It makes you wonder how many brilliant ideas are just, waiting to be discovered. If we could only quiet our minds and tap into that creative potential.
Yeah, he'll believe that everyone possesses this creative potential, but it often lies dormant, buried beneath these layers of limiting beliefs and mental clutter. He offered several suggestions for cultivating creative vision, starting with aligning ourselves with our conscience. He believed that when we are in harmony with our deepest values and principles, our creative energy flows more freely.
So it's not just about having a brilliant idea, but about ensuring that your ideas are aligned with your moral compass, right?
Oh,
It's about using your creative powers for good, not for selfish or harmful purposes.
Exactly. And he stressed the importance of developing a deep belief in your abilities, trusting that you have the capacity to achieve great things. He suggests asking yourself empowering questions. Who am I? What do I willing to give in return? He believed that these questions they help to clarify our purpose and ignite our creative fire.
It's about shifting from a mindset of doubt and limitation
Yeah.
to a mindset of possibility and potential.
Yeah.
It's about believing in yourself and backing yourself with everything you've got.
Yeah, and he advised immersing yourself in something that sparks an obsessional desire,
Yeah.
something that truly captures your imagination and fuels your passion. He believed that passion, it fuels creativity and propels us to seek innovative solutions.
I love that idea. It's about finding that thing that truly lights you up, that makes you, eager to learn, grow, and create. It's about following your curiosity and allowing your passions to guide you.
Yeah, and he recommended setting aside a silent hour each day
Yeah.
for quiet contemplation and introspection. He believed that in stillness we can access this deeper level of wisdom and intuition. A space where creative insights can emerge. It's about quieting the mental chatter and tuning into that inner voice that often knows the way forward.
This reminds me of the importance of mindfulness,
Right.
of creating space for stillness and reflection in our busy lives. It's about balancing action with contemplation, recognizing that both are essential for achieving our goals and
Right.
and living a fulfilling life.
Absolutely. Hill's work is full of these seemingly paradoxical ideas, the need for both self-reliance and collaboration, for both action and contemplation, for both mastering our minds and tapping into the power of of something beyond our conscious understanding. It's like he's inviting us to embrace the fullness of human experience, to acknowledge both our strengths and limitations, and to trust that we have everything we need to achieve our dreams.
That's a beautiful way to frame it. It's not about following a rigid formula, but
Yeah.
but about embracing the journey, with all its twists and turns, its triumphs and setbacks. It's about trusting the process and believing in our own capacity to grow and evolve.
Yeah, speaking of trusting the process,
Yeah.
he also emphasizes the importance of understanding and leveraging the mastermind principle. He believed that no significant achievement was possible without the collaboration and support of others.
Right. He saw the mastermind principle as a way to amplify our own
Yeah.
abilities and achieve results far beyond what we could accomplish alone. It's about recognizing that we don't have to go it alone, and that collaboration can be this powerful catalyst for success.
He cites several examples of the mastermind principle in action, ranging from Henry Ford's collaboration with his wife
Yeah.
to the Mayo brothers' creation of their world-renowned medical clinic, and
Oh.
and even President Roosevelt's mobilization of a nationwide alliance to combat the Great Depression. And these examples they demonstrate the principle's diverse applications, showcasing its power to transform not just individuals but also organizations and even entire societies.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we are all interconnected, and that by pooling our talents and resources, we can achieve extraordinary results. But Hill also stressed the importance of cultivating our own internal masterminds, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he talked about his invisible guides, those imaginary entities he created to embody different aspects of his goals.
Yes, and it might sound a bit unconventional, but it's actually a powerful technique for self-motivation and accountability.
Mm.
So by personifying his goals and creating this inner team, he was essentially tapping into the power of his subconscious mind to support his aspirations.
So it's almost like creating a personalized support system, a group of advisors living rent-free in your own mind, offering, guidance and encouragement every step of the way. Did he actually see results from this technique, or was it more of a theoretical concept?
Oh, he shared several stories about how his invisible guides helped him achieve his goals. He even mentioned how some of his business associates, initially skeptical of the idea, began using the same technique with great success.
I'm starting to see how this could be a powerful mental tool, a way to harness the power of our imagination to support our goals. It's about recognizing that our minds are incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
and that we can leverage their power in creative and unexpected ways.
And it all ties back to his emphasis on controlling our mental attitude, right?
Oh.
He believed that our thoughts are powerful forces that shape our reality, and that by mastering our thoughts, we can master our destiny.
He saw controlling one's mental attitude as the most important prerogative given to humans by the creator, the foundation upon which everything else is built. It's about recognizing that we have the power to choose our thoughts, and that by choosing positive, empowering thoughts, we can create a more fulfilling and successful life.
Yeah, he offered several practical techniques for controlling our mental attitude, ranging from harnessing the power of willpower to surrounding ourselves with positive influences, and even treating everyone as if they were, a rich relative from whom we expected to inherit a fortune. And these techniques, while sometimes humorous, they highlight the importance of shifting our perspective, focusing on the positive and cultivating this mindset of abundance.
So it's about recognizing that our thoughts create our reality, and that by choosing our thoughts wisely, we can create a reality that supports our goals and well-being. But it's not just about positive thinking, is it? It's also about developing self-discipline, right? The ability to act on those positive thoughts and make them a reality.
Absolutely. Hill was a big believer in self-discipline. seeing it as essential for achieving any worthwhile goal. He outlined 10 specific rules for developing self-discipline, covering areas like, managing our emotions, treating others with respect, developing personal initiative, and going the extra mile. He believed that self-discipline is not about deprivation, but about empowerment. It's about choosing to act in ways that support our goals and values, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable.
One of his most memorable rules, at least for me, is to keep cool when other people get hot. He tells a story about witnessing a company president remain calm while a subordinate berated him, demonstrating the power of self-control in the face of anger and disrespect. It makes you think about how often we react impulsively, letting our emotions dictate our behavior.
It's a reminder that we don't have to react to every provocation. We can choose to respond with calmness and composure, even when others are losing their cool. It's about recognizing that our reactions are our own responsibility, and that we can choose to act in ways that serve us rather than reacting in ways that harm us.
Another rule that resonated with me is his advice to look for the seed of an equivalent benefit in every unpleasant circumstance. He believed that every challenge, no matter how difficult, contains a lesson or opportunity for growth. It's a tough one to swallow when you're in the middle of a crisis.
Right.
But it's a powerful reminder that even adversity can be a teacher.
Yeah, it's about shifting our perspective and recognizing that even challenging experiences, can be valuable learning opportunities. It's about choosing to see the good, even when it's hidden beneath layers of difficulty or pain.
He encourages us to learn the difference between friendly analysis and unfriendly criticism, and to choose to focus on the former while ignoring the latter. It's about developing the discernment to recognize constructive feedback, and the wisdom to filter out negativity. It's a valuable skill in today's world where we're constantly bombarded with opinions and judgment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and encourage us, and distancing ourselves from those who drain our energy or erode our confidence.
I love that he also reminds us that there are three sides to every argument, encouraging us to consider multiple perspectives before jumping to conclusions. It's a good reminder in our polarized world where it's easy to get caught up in black and white thinking.
Yeah, he challenges us to acknowledge our own potential role in conflicts and strive for understanding rather than simply trying to win the argument. He encourages us to listen more than we lecture, to seek common ground, and to approach disagreements with a spirit of curiosity rather than judgment.
His emphasis on listening is a powerful reminder in our fast-paced, opinionated world. It's about recognizing that we don't always have the answers, and that there's value in hearing other perspectives, even if they differ from our own.
He also tells this cautionary tale about the destructive consequences of unchecked emotions,
Yes.
citing the infamous Hatfield-McCoy feud as an example of how a minor incident, a pig with a torn ear, escalated into this generations-long cycle of violence and revenge.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder of the importance of controlling our reactions and avoiding the temptation to magnify petty annoyances into major conflicts. It's about recognizing that our emotions, while powerful, can also be destructive if left unchecked.
Hill's message is clear. Self-discipline is not just about achieving success. It's about preventing self-destruction.
Yeah.
It's about choosing peace over conflict, forgiveness over resentment, and understanding over judgment.
It's a powerful message about the importance of emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
and the destructive consequences of unchecked negativity, isn't it?
It is. It's a reminder that we have the power to choose our responses, and that by choosing wisely, we can break free from cycles of conflict and create a more peaceful and fulfilling life, both for ourselves and for those around us.
Right. It's about recognizing that our thoughts and emotions, they have this ripple effect,
Yeah.
influencing not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. By choosing positivity and compassion, we can create a more harmonious and supportive world for ourselves and for future generations.
Yeah, I think this is a good place for us to pause and let all this information sink in for a bit. Hill's work is so rich and multi-layered. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, and each layer, reveals new insights. And
Welcome back to our deep dive into Napoleon Hill. It's it's one thing to talk about mindset and all that, but the rubber really meets the road when it comes to action, right?
absolutely.
That's where Hill's concept of personal initiative comes in.
Right. He was adamant that personal initiative was this key ingredient for success. It's not enough to just have, goals and a plan. You have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and make things happen.
And he seemed to have a knack for spotting those who possess this trait. He shares a story about this young man named Al Williams, who boldly approached Charles M. Schwab, the president of Bethlehem Steel, right as he arrived on his private railroad car. Talk about, guts.
I know, right? So Williams's proactive approach, it not only got him noticed, but it landed him this job in Schwab's private office. And it eventually led to this successful career in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic example of how taking initiative can open doors that might otherwise remain closed.
Right. So it's not about, waiting for someone to give you permission or hand you an opportunity. It's about, creating your own luck, being proactive and taking action, even when it feels a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, he'll believe that personal initiative is one of the key differentiators between those who achieve mediocrity and those who achieve greatness. It's about taking ownership of your success rather than waiting for someone else to hand it to you.
But taking initiative, it isn't just about, grand gestures, is it?
No, it's not.
It's also about those smaller everyday actions where we choose to go above and beyond what's expected. This is where Hill's concept of going the extra mile comes in.
Right. He saw this habit as a way to stand out from the crowd, to build strong relationships and to create opportunities for advancement. It's about, being known as someone who consistently delivers more than is required, someone who's always willing to go the extra step.
He actually outlines 13 reasons why going the extra mile is so beneficial. Now, I don't want to overwhelm our listener with a laundry list, but could you highlight a couple of those reasons that really, pack a punch?
Oh, absolutely. Two of the most impactful reasons, in my opinion, are related to self-promotion and building resilience. So, by going above and beyond, you attract positive attention from those who have the power to open doors for you. It's like this silent but powerful form of self-promotion.
So it's not about, bragging or being boastful, right? It's about letting your actions speak for themselves, demonstrating your value through consistent effort and exceeding expectations. I like that. What about the resilience aspect?
Well, Hill argues that going the extra mile, it builds resilience because it forces you to confront and overcome challenges.
Yeah.
And, when you're constantly pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, you develop this mental toughness that helps you navigate setbacks.
Yeah.
And bounce back stronger.
Yeah, it's like building mental muscle, through consistent effort and challenge. I can see how that would be invaluable in any field. And it's interesting, Hill even connects going the extra mile to his own love story, which I found incredibly heartwarming.
Yeah, he shares how he was helping a struggling friend by giving free lectures, without any expectation of reward. And it was through this act of selfless service that he met his wife, someone he credits with profoundly enriching his life.
Yeah, it's a beautiful illustration of how sometimes the greatest rewards come from the paths we least expect, often arising from acts of kindness and generosity. It's a reminder that sometimes the most fulfilling achievements aren't about personal gain, but about making a positive impact on the lives of others.
Well said. And it speaks to the heart of Hill's philosophy, that true success is not just about material wealth or recognition, but about living a life of purpose, integrity, and service to others.
As we wrap up this deep dive into the wisdom of Napoleon Hill, I'm struck by the depth and breadth of his thinking. We've explored so many powerful concepts, from the importance of definiteness of purpose and creative vision to the power of the subconscious mind and the benefits of going the extra mile. It's clear that his work offers this timeless roadmap for personal achievement and a blueprint for living a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
His philosophy is both, empowering and challenging, right?
Yeah.
It encourages us to take responsibility for our thoughts and actions, and to, consciously cultivate a mindset that supports our goals and well-being. It's a reminder that we have far more power than we often realize,
Mm-hmm.
and that our choices, guided by purpose and fueled by passion, can create the life we desire.
So as we conclude our exploration of Hill's work, I encourage you to revisit the concepts that resonated with you, to ponder the questions that sparked your curiosity, and to experiment with the techniques that you're eager to implement in your own life.
Yeah, remember, Hill's wisdom is a gift, but it's up to each of us to unwrap that gift and put it to use. The journey to personal achievement begins with a single step. And what step will you take today?
That's a powerful question to leave our listener with. I know I'm walking away from this deep dive with a renewed sense of purpose and a toolbox full of strategies to put Hill's wisdom into action.
And remember, the power to achieve your dreams lies within you. Believe in yourself, take action, and never give up on your aspirations.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the wisdom of Napoleon Hill. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.